This is lesson 7 exercise number 2. I'm going to give you some techniques on how I would make this part. So I've created a new part already. I meant to show the tree here. What we're going to do is build a pad, and then I'm going to pocket it. So it's not exactly like the part. It's the same concept though. I just want to do a quick demo on how to make that part, and then you guys can edit the values to whatever the book tells you. So what I'm going to do is I'm going to sketch out multiple rectangles, and you don't have to have them the exact same size. You can always edit them later. So I'm just going to create 3 rectangles for the top, and then that sits something like that, and then I'm going to use the quick trim command, and we'll blow out the lines on the inside here. And oh, I forgot the rectangle on the inside. Now what I won't do is link it up to that one, so I'm going to make it smaller. Oops, see, I didn't want to do that. And I'm going to constrain it using auto constrain, and I'm going to constrain this much of it, say OK, then I'm going to auto constrain again and reference these elements, stack it, go to coincident, exit out, create a pocket or pad. I just go 4 inches, reverse the direction so my constraints are sitting on the front. Select OK. And what I'm going to do now is what's called a position sketch. Make sure that this is turned off. This right here, that icon, click on that. It enables smart position. Oh, did I have something already picked there? Click on this one here. Make sure that is turned off. I'm going to rotate this around, and I'm going to grab that bottom line. The first selection is your horizontal line. The second selection is your vertical. And I don't know why vertical always comes in upside down, but I'm going to reverse it and select OK. In this case, I do want the horizontal going negative because I'm on the side of the profile. I'll just create a rectangle that fits inside of here. And then I'm going to highlight the whole thing and go right to auto constrain. I'll just say OK, I'll let the computer constrain it, and we'll exit out. And what I'm going to create is a pocket. So that pocket is found underneath the pad option. So you have to hit the down arrow to get the pocket to work. Reverse the selection and go up to next. Or up to last would work. Select OK. I'm going to pop back into my ISO view. And that's the general idea and concept of how I did lesson 7 exercise 2. I'll go ahead and do it again if you want to watch, if that went a little too fast for you. So I've wiped everything out, and I'll go back and create the sketch. On the YZ plane, select that plane and then pick sketch. What I did first, again, was I created the rectangles I needed. So I got 3 rectangles on the top, basically 3 notches on the top. And then I built the base part of it. And then I built a rectangle, because if I build this rectangle here and here, I'm either going to get a coincident like I did here. Unfortunately, I can't zoom because you probably won't see it much more. It keeps making the coincident smaller as you get closer to it. Anyways, I can see there's that coincident. I've linked that line up to this. If I don't want them to be the same size, you want to constrain them in such a manner that I can edit them later. So when I create that rectangle, even if it were dimensionally the same size, I wanted that flexibility to change it at will. So I'm going to make it undersized so it doesn't link up to that. Now, these lines have to be removed because right now, in my analysis, I don't have a closed. Well, I've got these closed profiles, but it's going to give me issues when I go and try and work with this and dimension it. Plus, it's just not right having a seam up there. I guess I could exit out and I could try and build the pad. You're going to get that feature definition error because I've got closed profiles that are overlapping each other. It's just not going to like it, okay? So that's why I have to remove that. I'll not hit sketch again, but double click sketch off the tree because I want to modify my existing sketch. So back to sketch and find the quick trim command and blow out the line. The reason why you got to pick it twice is because you got the big box and then the little box overlapping each other. So you got to hit that twice. Now you might have noticed when I auto constrained it, I highlighted all of this and I didn't grab that last line. I didn't grab the last line because I didn't want to constrain from here to here. I wanted all these to be chain dimension though, so I could edit those and link the tops here the same and link this notch and this notch to be the same. So when you use auto constrain, the default is chain mode, which is great. All I have to do now is say okay, and it's just going to chain all those together. So when I highlight this, auto constrain, and come in and reference these elements and stack dimension it, and hit OK, I get this dimension that's fine. This dimension's actually, you know what? This actually worked. Sometimes, oh no, it didn't. See how it went to there? Okay. So I didn't like that, and I just know from experience that that's what stack dimension is going to do in that particular scenario. So I'm going to undo that. All right. So again, when I did this part, all I did was highlight this, and I didn't get the last line in there. So when I auto constrain it and hit OK, it just chain dimensions the whole top. When I select this again and auto constrain it, auto constrain it, I'm going to establish the datums like I would for stack dimensioning. But what I want is a chain dimension from this line to this line and a chain dimension from the left vertical to the right and from here to here and then from the bottom of the rectangle to the top. That allows me to control the location of the rectangle. And, oh, wait a minute. Sorry. I'll go ahead and hit OK under chain dimension. Seeing it didn't do what I like here. So this did that, and this did that, which is fine. So but I know that that doesn't work. So when I do something like I'm trying to locate this rectangle, I generally want to chain dimension it. So what you do is you highlight that and use your control button to grab those lines. A lot of times when I highlight the whole thing, it won't grab the lines, and it'll grab the points and try and constrain to the point. So by highlighting the rectangle and using the shift command and grabbing those two lines, you can auto constrain and chain it just like the way it is. And I don't even have to do the datums or nothing. I'm controlling the new CATIA version here, the 3D experience. You got to be really careful what you're grabbing. See how it wants to change the length there? Because I have no dimension line to hardly even grab onto. So it gets really tricky trying to move that. So you got to move that dimension out so you can move this out. again, technically I don't have to do that, but I guess doing a lot of drafting drawings, it's hard for me to look at it when it's not that way. So this constraint, I'll just leave that here for you guys so you'll be able to see it. I'm controlling the location and the size of the box. So this dimension and this dimension locate the bottom left corner of the rectangle, and then this one and this one control the size of that rectangle, which is probably what I would want to control on the drawing as well. So again, typically when I do my drawings, how I dimensioned it here is typically what I'm going to dimension on the drawing. Pretty close to. So all we got to do is contact this edge to this edge, contact this edge to this edge. Yikes. Let's check our profiles. They're both closed, and I got constrained elements. So we're good to go on that. We can go ahead and make our pad. And we'll go reverse direction. Now the second part, which might be new for you, is I did a position sketch, making sure that this was turned off, grabbing this line as my horizontal line and grabbing this line as my vertical line. Establishing an axis coordinate to work from. I will invert the vertical. I could have also done it over here, but this really is my datum corner, so I feel like I should build everything off that datum corner. That's what I'm asking the shop to do. I'll select OK. I will create the rectangle. And then I will go to auto constraint. Now this axis is a position axis. When I have a position axis in there, when I highlight this, it's going to dimension everything off the position axis. All I got to do is say OK, and it's going to dimension the size of the box, and it's going to locate the box. So I've located the box 1/2 inch from either side, and I've controlled the size of this box. If you take the Engineering Tech 196 class, I'm going to show you more stuff on how to link things. So if the part grows, it'll automatically grow with it. I'll go ahead and exit out right now. If I go into the pocket command, and say up to last again, or up to next, and hit OK, it removes all that material. That part is basically done. I'm going to do this. I'm going to go to the pad, and I'm going to change that depth from 4 to 5. So you notice that this didn't follow through. I have to go into the sketch, and I got to manually change that to 4. But when you take the KnowledgeWare class, you'll learn how to set formulas so it'll automatically link to that. Okay, I could have also constrained the dimension from here to here, but I like controlling the size of the notch because that's what I'm going to do probably when I make my drawing. I'm going to go to this sketch, and I'm going to change this to 1.5 inches. And we're going to exit out. And that's cool if that was your intention. Okay? But if you didn't want that and you want that to go through, again, you'd have to go into this sketch. Change that 3 to a 3.5 or even 4, where it goes beyond. It goes beyond that profile. So when I exit out, even if I were to change that pad to full, this dimension here to 2, select OK, still going to trim it off. Again, the problem is if you go to this sketch and I change that sketch to 3, now I got the handle that's going to come in again up on the top, which is cool again if that's what you were trying to create. Just for fun, you guys can do it. But if you take the 196 class, we're going to show you things on how to link stuff up so this doesn't happen if that's not your intent. Alright, when that part's done, go ahead and make your drawings. Hopefully this helps you out with building the part.